You've definitely heard this one before, right? It's on coffee mugs, posters, graduation cards, everywhere. Be strong and courageous. It feels like this piece of timeless wisdom that's just always been around. But what if it's way more than just a nice saying? What if there's a whole story we're missing?
Okay, let's just look at the words themselves. They're simple, they're direct, and yeah, they're powerful. But the story behind them, it is anything but simple. We're about to go back to the original, incredibly high-stakes moment where this command was first given.
So, which is it? Is this just some universal inspiration that feels good to hear, or is it a very specific command, given in a moment of absolute crisis with layers of meaning we've kind of forgotten over time? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go on a journey to uncover the hidden blueprint for courage that's packed into these few words.
To really get this phrase, we have to go back, we have to transport ourselves to the original scene, a moment of crisis where an entire nation was basically holding its breath.
I want you to really try and imagine this. You are Joshua, the one and only Moses, the guy who stood up to Pharaoh, parted a sea, and led your people for 40 years, is gone. He's dead. And now everybody's looking at you. An entire nation is counting on you to lead them into hostile, unknown territory. The pressure is just astronomical. And it's right into this chaos of grief and fear that God speaks. And right away, this is where our modern understanding starts to get a little shaky. First off, this wasn't a suggestion. It wasn't gentle encouragement. It was a direct command. It's not try to feel brave. It's you will act with courage. Second, it's not about getting rid of nerves. Of course Joshua was nervous. This is about preventing fear from completely paralyzing you. And maybe most important, the whole foundation for this courage isn't Joshua's own skill or some self-help pep talk. The whole thing is built on one thing, the promise of God's presence. And it gets even cooler when we look at the original Hebrew. Because the English phrase, be strong and courageous, is actually a summary of a 4-part command. It's not just a motivational quote, it's a strategic, psychological blueprint for how to face down overwhelming fear. Okay, so the first word is hazak. This isn't about some vague feeling of inner toughness. The root of this word means to seize, to grip, to bind yourself to something. It's a muscular command. Imagine you're in a hurricane and someone yells, grab the rope. That's hazak. It's an action. Take hold of your courage with both hands and do not let go. So you've got the physical grip. The second part is ames. This is the other side of the coin, the mental side. It means to be steadfast, alert, and determined. This is about having your heart and your mind completely locked in on the mission. It's a courage that comes from being laser-focused, not just reckless. Then you get the 2 don'ts. The first is arish. This is a very specific kind of fear. It's that overwhelming dread that makes you tremble. It's that deer-in-the-headlights terror that freezes you before you even take the first step. The command is clear. Do not let that kind of fear win. Don't freeze. And the final piece is hatat. Now, if the last one was about freezing on the outside, this one is about shattering on the inside. This word means to be broken, to be terrified from the inside out. It's about guarding against that inner collapse where fear gets in so deep, it just breaks your spirit apart.
So you put it all together, and look what you get. It's this incredible 4-step strategy. It's a whole game plan. First, grip your resolve. Second, focus your mind. Third, refuse to be paralyzed by dread. And fourth, protect your inner spirit from shattering. I mean, come on, that is so much more than just be brave.
But here's the thing. This wasn't just a one-and-done pep talk for Joshua. This 4-part command became this recurring refrain, almost like a national anthem for crisis that echoed all through Israel's history, whenever they were standing on the edge of something that felt impossible.
And the command itself, it kind of adapted over time. For Joshua, it was courage to lead an army and fight. A little later, he uses the same words to tell Israel they need courage just to obey God's law. For King David's son Solomon, it's the courage to build a massive temple. For the exiles in a foreign land, it's the courage to simply endure. The words stay the same, but the battlefield keeps changing.
But then, hundreds and hundreds of years later, something huge happens. A seismic shift. The New Testament writers pick up this exact same language, strength, courage, God's presence, but they completely twist it into a new shape. It's like they're playing the same melody, but in a totally different key, quieter, and somehow way deeper.
Just look at this side by side. The old command was about courage for conquest, overcoming your enemies out there. It was about seizing your strength because God was with you. The new command,
It's about courage for the cross, overcoming your own weakness in here. It's about finding strength by letting go, because God is now within you. The entire equation gets flipped upside down.
The Apostle Paul just nails this new reality. He basically says that when he begged God to take away his weakness, God's answer was, nope, my power actually shows up best right there, in your weakness. And Paul's conclusion is just stunning. When I am weak, then I am strong. Our human weakness actually becomes the stage for God's strength to show up.
So what this means is that the whole foundation for courage shifts. It's not just about an external promise of God's presence anymore, as powerful as that was. It becomes an internal reality. The new center of gravity is that perfect love itself now lives inside of you, and it's this indwelling love that actively drives out fear.
You can actually picture this whole journey we've been on as an inward spiral. The theme is always the same: strength, courage, not being afraid, God's presence. But with each turn through history, the center of it all moves closer and closer and closer to the human heart. See how it works? It starts way out there with courage focused on conquering a physical land. Then it tightens, focusing on one central place, the temple. Then it zooms in even more, centering on one person, Jesus and the cross, where courage suddenly looks like surrender. And finally, it spirals all the way in to the human heart, where courage is all about inner transformation and love. And so the old refrain finds its ultimate fulfillment. That promise that started with Joshua on the banks of a river, I will be with you. It expands to its final, deepest meaning. Now strength and courage are rooted in a presence that isn't just alongside you, but is in you and among you always.
So that ancient command, be strong and courageous, is absolutely still for us today. But after this whole journey, we can see that the battlefield has moved. It's no longer a physical land out there to be conquered. It's the landscape of our own hearts. So the question isn't just for Joshua anymore, it's for you and me. In this new battlefield, what does courage look like for you today?